Ich gehöre längst nicht mehr zur Welt der Sterblichen. Ich fürchte hier nichts und niemanden. Willst du wissen, wer ich bin? Ich bin Vegeta!
Hello guys, it's Chocolate King. I'm back here again. And yes, subtitled video, yes. What would be the future of the Miyata Ichiro? The man inspired by Sugar Ray Leonard. And it's been one of those things that's been a secret has been on the back of everybody's mind, because Miyata has been seen in since like post Mishima fight, or like before that. I think it was before that. And like after Miyata showed up, Kentaro and Teo was just like, I wonder if we still say Ippo's punch drunk. And he's just like, Kumi, oh yeah, that's when that happened. Then that leads over to the Mishima fight. So we haven't seen him since then. So like about a good 40 chapters or something. No, that's more than 40 chapters. Yeah, that's more than 40. Since about roughly 50, 60 chapters. And when it refers to future Miyata Ichiro, it's just one of those things where it's just no one truly knows. Cause Miyata said he was moving on, but unlike Sendo, he never said what his he never make his plans clear to Ippo and anybody else. Cause we haven't seen Miyata in a long time, so it's just no one knows what could be happening here. Anything could happen. Anything. No. We have seen Miyata in the grocery store. We have seen that. We have seen that. But besides from that, nothing else has happened. That's clearly nothing else happened. Went up with the whole news of Sendo going against Gonzalez. That was pretty much it. That's all pretty much what happened. So it goes to the question. Last time Miyata talked to Ippo, you gotta wonder what this Miyata means by, oh, I'm moving on now. So that could be, in my opinion, it means one or two things. And one is more likely than the other. Is one that he will finally relinquish the belt of the Pacific Rim champion. He finally move on for a world title shot and face some better competition than those guys who can barely hit for nothing or just find a match just because. Miyata Sr. has brought it up when Sendo brought it up to him, but it's up to Miyata to decide who he fights and what he does with his career. So the first option, of course, would be him relinquishing the belt. The second option would be, with some people throwing around every once in a while, is that Miyata will I'm just hesitating because of the game. Miyata will move up a weight class and go into the junior lightweight and go to the same class as Mishima, and that's pretty much, not Mishima, but the same class as Kimura, and that'll pretty much be what he's doing. I said that's less likely, but it's still a possibility, because it's like we could have like a Joey Buki situation where the featherweight class means so much to him that he may not leave. But the way, but some of the things that people are saying, the reason why he could be leaving the weight class altogether, and because he brought up the whole, it's funny with the whole featherweight thing. With being in featherweight, it caused him like featherweight wings. I don't think that he was implying that he will be leaving the weight class there, but something that coming in the future, yeah, I'm pretty sure eventually he will. Because some might say if he does move up, then we'll ever get the Ippo vs Miyata fight. No, that just might not even happen. And the reason, and some might say, based on what, in my opinion, the main reason why we might not ever get that fight is quite simply the simple fact that we technically already had it. What do you mean we already had it? It's quite simple. The Itagaki versus Ayami fight is pretty much Ippo 2.0 versus Miyata 2.0. Just basically just have Itagaki take away the counters, and basically, you have Miyata take away the counters, and you have basically Miyata. You have Ippo take away the Dempsey roll and just give him the Gazelle punch. That's pretty much Ippo before he fought AJ. Oh no, that's pretty much Ippo after before he fought AJ Dante. That's pretty much what he was. They're all together. So pretty much we already had it. Not only did we already have it, we have it twice, and we might have it a third time if Itagaki would decide to stop slouching around and actually get back into the gym and start beating quality opponents instead of beating up his cannon fodder. Well, I have quality opponents from the finally re-challenge Hayami again, because he haven't brought it up a while either. Now you have mentioned it a few times, he haven't brought it up. But the thing with the whole Ippo versus Miyata fight, we've already had it. And it just, then again, we can still have the whole thing where Miyata is still a curse to Kumi, but it's just in it. I don't think it'd be Miyata. Well. I don't think it'd be Miyata just moving a weight class at all. I don't see it happening in the recent chapters. I'm not saying it would never happen, but he'll most definitely do it if he loses to Ippo. But besides from that, it's just, let's say he does move up. Now, one of the best fights to see if Miyata does move up a weight class should be Miyata versus Alexander Vork Zangief. Alright, I might not be too fond of the idea of Miyata moving up weight class, but seeing a full power Miyata versus a full power champion Vork, they both have enough time, all the time they need for training camp. Whatever year it is, 2001, 2002, December, in Vork's home country or America, Miyata Ichiro versus Vork. That'd be an excellent fight. Some people say Vork would win by default. I say it'd be a quite even fight, because we haven't seen Miyata push to the limit. We haven't seen a full power, outright savage Miyata yet. We haven't seen that for a while. He's always have to deal with weight management, and Vork doesn't seem like he have to deal with it at all. So it is one of those things where just anything could happen. Because sure, Vork is an excellent strategist, but he is prone to counters. The White Fang could be stopped. But with Miyata, since he's so overwhelmingly footwork counters, unless you shut down his footwork, you won't be stopping Miyata. But for the future of Miyata, it's just those are the only two options I can actually see happening for Miyata. It's whether he's moving up to a weight class, or he's trailing. He's gonna set himself up for a world title. Would he? Now that would be interesting, because if he does stay in the same weight class, we'll finally be able to answer the question of who is the number 2 guy? Well, not the number 2 guy. Who's the number 1 ranked fighter except the featherweight class? Because we don't even know who he is, and we don't even know what he looks like. And since Sendo's already going for Ricardo Martinez, it make more sense for Miyata to go for the WBC champ or the WBA champ. Cause like they've already been because WBF is all Ricardo Martinez, so it makes sense for Miyata to go after another one of those belts. Maybe become unified and then maybe fight Sendo. Now Sendo versus Miyata is also another super fight. I'll pay good money for that. Another one. Miyata versus Sendo. Especially after we done did the Gonzalez. Are you serious? And a full power Miyata. Talk about a super fight. Miyata is it. Miyata versus Sendo is it. It'd be one of those things that just be seen it on screen. It'd be unbelievable. I've said multiple times with multiple fights in Hajime Ippo, I pay pay-per-view for that. But for that Miyata versus Sendo, boy, I've already got the Alpha versus Gonzalez. Love that. It just used to be a dream come true to a certain degree. It's just the possibilities, the counters, the showdown. Because like technically Sendo already know how to deal with Miyata to a certain degree. But will he be able to put Miyata down? Sparring and fighting somebody in the ring in the actual ring is two different things. Which Ippo learned from the spar you had with AJ Dante. So anything can happen. Anything can happen. They both have full training camp. They'll both be champions by that time, hopefully. It'll be excellent. Cause seeing Miyata just go instantly for Sendo, since he just got a championship from Ricardo. If he does beat Ricardo, it'd be one of those things where it just he wouldn't want to compete directly with Sendo until he actually had to fight Sendo. It's not like Miyata is afraid to fight Sendo, but it's one of those things where if he had a choice, he'd rather become a champion first and unify the belts than just go to Sendo right off the bat. It's not like he really already have time to figure out what Sendo's been doing and this and that. But I think he'd go after another belt, especially the fact that Sendo is still so kick to Ippo these days. Is just anything can happen. But now that I think about it, with the whole Miyata situation, it's just like with Vork. Why didn't Miyata watch the fight with Sendo versus Gonzalez? Like he was talking about with his gym buddies, but he didn't watch it with everybody else. It's just only Ippo out of everybody. Only Ippo watched the fight. Really? Only him. Nobody else watched this fight. A fight of this magnitude. Sendo versus the man who dropped and it prematurely ended Makanouchi's career, and no one's talking about this. No one's watching this. Are you serious? Vork, where are you? Miyata, what are you doing? I'm sure Miyata is moving on and got his own career to worry about, but it's just that's still competition. If Miyata is still in the featherweight class, that's still eventually a future challenge. So it's just one of those things where just, why is Ippo the only person watching these fights? And then let's say, what if Miyata is going for Martinez, which I doubt he will, because it would, like, Miyata going for somebody else in the featherweight class will further flesh out the world of Hajime Ippo. We have seen Hajime Ippo that Ricardo Martinez is seen as a super champ. We don't know if that means by he's seen as undisputed, or he dropped some belts to anybody else just because he don't fight the mandatories anymore. Which would make sense. If they Ricardo Martinez like a Michael Spinks situation, where he was still a linear champ, and they see him as the true world champion, or the true undisputed champion, since he never did lose a belt, and he just started dropping belts so he wouldn't have to face the same guy. If that would happen, it makes sense what I say Ricardo Martinez as the champion of all champs. He has had 60 fights, and he is undefeated, so if that was the case, that would make sense to me. And if that's so, then who's the WBC champ? Who's the WBA champ? Who is the WBO champ at the time? Who are these champions? Because they gotta be there. They gotta be somebody. And it would further flesh out the rest of the featherweight class. Because we always hear about Ricardo Martinez. Oh, how we love Ricardo Martinez. I love the man just like anybody else, but it's just, who are these other people? Who is the number 2 in the world? You already know who, Jose Nargo is number 5 in the Mexican champ. Who is number 2? Because we never hear the name of number 2. So like somebody say, what about number 3, 4, 5? I mean 3, 4. 3 and 4 doesn't matter. No. When Fred Gonzalez first showed up, that canceled out the whole, do we even need to know who 2 was? Well, who 3 and 4 was? Especially after Cindor beat up Jose Nargo, who was number 5. So see who's number 1 is. The mandatory challenger from Ricardo Martinez. Actually, now that I think about it, we might just find out who that is in the next chapter. Because honestly, unless Ricardo Martinez chose this fighter, I'm pretty sure this is Ricardo Martinez, one of Ricardo Martinez mandatories. And if it is one of Ricardo Martinez mandatories, we just might see not only our new character next chapter, not only see Ricardo get pushed a little bit further than AJ Dante did, we'll finally get to see who the number 2 guy is, and the number 1 guy is. Well, technically the true number 2 guy is, because and sure, it is directly implied by Cindor's coach, if Ricardo Martinez wasn't champion, that Alfredo Gonzalez would be world champ. But the thing is, if that was the case, then why he's not ranked number 1 then? Cause I think Alfredo Gonzalez only had he only lost like twice on both of those times with Ricardo Martinez. So that was the case. Did he beat the number 1? And if he did, it'll make sense. But if he didn't, then that brings up some questions about Alfredo Gonzalez. And not because he's a coward or anything, but it's just, why did he fight this guy in particular? Because it's gotta be somebody. He could be a Mexican, he could be a Filipino, he could be anybody. But this number 2 guy has to be somebody. Some people saying, the number 1 guy has to be somebody. Oh, somebody say it's gonna be Wooly. There's no point of it being Wooly. I don't care how much you hate the character. It'll be no point. Seeing the person get beat senselessly without putting up a proper fight, then getting destroyed, it doesn't mean anything because you don't get a chance to see them suffer. You don't get a chance to see them struggle as their dreams die in front of them. So I don't think number 1 guy is Wooly. And plus, in that short time period, if he was able to get past Ippo, because it took Ippo a while before he actually started taking on like legit world-class competition. Same thing with people saying like Ayami can tussle with Ippo. No. Or Cindor or Miyata. You've lost your mind, and I don't know what happy crack you've been smoking, but that just have been making and pulling the Kool-Aid. But just no. Just no, Billy. Just no. Just no. Because Ippo still had to fight some national level guys like Take. I think his name is Take. I think it's like Take something. Yeah, I think it's Take. The Take guy who kept hitting him with the short uppercut. And that was Ippo thought he was ready to move on to face national champions. And he got set back by that one singular guy, who's a journeyman. Ayami's only had 2 defenses. Ippo had about roughly 5 to 6. Ayami still has a way to go in my books. But as in for the number 2 guy, well, for the true ranked number 1 challenger for the IBF champion, I have no idea. But seeing Miyata go against that guy in his next fight, if he still is inside the featherweight class, which I hope he is, because at this point I don't really care about the whole Miyata vs. Cindor fight. I mean, the Miyata vs. Ippo fights is, in my opinion, I've already seen it. In my personal opinion, I've already had. It's just, there is not much left to see in that fight. Besides from seeing the novelty of Miyata and Ippo himself, seeing how Miyata would deal with the Demon Trio or the all-new Demon Trio, besides from seeing that, in an official match, there's nothing else, in my opinion, that I would want to see out of that fight. Like, absolutely nothing. So, moving up a weight class would be 10 times more beneficial to Miyata. His body can literally not even take it anymore. He spend more time starving than anything else, and sure, from his starvation he gained ultimate power and make his counter and his speed faster. Sure, but eventually you got to stop. Eventually the weight cut is gonna get to you. And much I'd like to see his last fight be Ippo. Inside the featherweight class, not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. There's a lot of ways it can go, especially with Miyata in what they call the Tales of Life of Miyata. Cause the grocery store is still there, alright? The grocery store is still there. And since it is still there, it's just some more classic Miyata using a poor old miss to get whatever he wants. He's getting $22 an hour. It is a grocery store. How is he getting paid that much? Who else works at this store? And how is he just working there part-time? It is what it is. It is what it is. Now, like, that's the thing. We've already had Hajime no Sendo, especially the last few chapters, the Mexico chapters. We already had Hajime no Mishiba with the build to that GOT fight. Well, when are we going to get Hajime no Miyata, alright? We've seen a few glimpses of Hajime no Miyata, especially the whole build-up to Vanderbilt Jr. But we've never seen it since Jimmy Fisher. Jimmy Fisher was the last time we ever seen Hajime no Miyata. And I'm just waiting for a turn of Hajime no Miyata. I'll put it like this. For those people who want to see Ippo return, when we get hot, I'll put it like this. I can guarantee you, I can't make any promises, but I can guarantee you, the day we get Hajime no Miyata is the same day that Ippo come back eventually. Here just makes sense to me, that the story will just wrap up or just catch up Miyata, and then we can get back to Ippo. Cause then, like, all the side characters will be caught up on. We caught up on Roy, we caught up on Senda, we caught up on Mishiba. Because besides them trying to develop Teihei and Kentaro, there's nobody else to really catch up back on, unless you're gonna finally make Takamura go up to super middleweight, and that's the case. Then that'll be the last thing. But you gotta even out. And I know it's been a while since we had it. No. Well, it's been like a good 30 chapters. We have to have a major Takamura fight, but Michael Goat was still a fight nonetheless. So it's just anything can happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure no one's throwing around the idea that Miyata's gonna be tired. That wouldn't make any sense at all. But it's just and that's the thing. Who was the champion that Miyata's father was chasing after? Because that was never addressed. Raccoon Boy fought Miyata Senior, but it was never addressed who Miyata Senior was going to fight if he would have won a world champion. Well, he would have beat Raccoon Boy. He wouldn't have got his jaw broken. So who would he would have fought as a world champion? Is that champion still like another champion that's still around, like Ricardo Martinez, or just purely like a Ricardo Martinez who's a super champion? And the champion Miyata could be going for is just a current day up-and-coming super champ, like a Vorg or something. As in, like, the age ring as a Vorg. Freshly crowned champion, beat a veteran down to obtain the title, perfect pass in the torch moment. It could be like one of those type of situations. But no one knows, because like Miyata's just been doing his own thing the last few chapters. We have seen him in the gym, but we haven't seen what he's actually doing. And I'm just waiting for the chapters to get of Hajime no Miyata. I want Ippo. No! I don't want to hear none of that. Alright? I don't want to hear none of that. Alright? It is not called the Makunouchi show. Alright? It's called Hajime Ippo. So it's just. Some people might not like it, but I'm enjoying the chapters, alright? If the chapters are boring, if the chapters are not interesting, that'll be one thing. Because there was a time I was waiting for the Freddy Gonzalez vs. Sendo fight, purely because that was the fight that's supposed to happen. Alright? I was not expecting to wait that long for the fight, but the fight was worth it nonetheless in my books. In my books, it was excellent. So when it refers to Hajime no Miyata, I can't give you an idea how long it lasts. I can't give you an idea of what we will be about. All I can say is be focused on Miyata. And we haven't really seen Miyata's day-to-day. We haven't got introduced into Miyata's gym friends or who Miyata's sparring partners are. We've seen certain glimpses of Miyata, like with his weight management, some of the interaction between him and his father, but we don't know anything else. Like, where is Miyata's mother? Well, I understand that some people just like, let's think. In certain stories, like the mother would just leave and she would never get brought back up again. Just like with Sendo's father, it's just no. I think his mother was. Everybody loved Sendo's father, but where's Sendo's mother? Where is she at? Where is Miyata's mother? Where is she at? Where is she? Because one of those things that just, it has not been addressed or talked about, and it's just getting deep into the whole Miyata debacle will be interesting. Now, I don't think Miyata and Miyata Senior and Koogama will ever fix their relationship. I don't think that will happen unless that Ippo fight actually goes through. I believe that Miyata and Ippo have already met on their own terms. So I don't think Miyata has anything else to say to Ippo. It is quite sad how only Miyata had never been able to taste the real life Ippo. But they formed and spawned. That was before Ippo was developed. That was before the Demtaro. The person who's fought Ippo the most. The person who basically knows Ippo down to each punch, each twitch of fiber in their body is Sendo. Mishiba has found his punching power. Vorik has felt his punching power. Sawamura Ruhei has felt his punching power. But Miyata have not felt such power. He has not felt such tension. He have not felt such loneliness. Yeah, because like anybody who deserved that fight, it should be Miyata. Because Miyata is the one who inspired Ippo. Miyata is the #1 inspiration for Makunouchi, and the fact that the inspiration of Makunouchi can't get a fight with Makunouchi is the saddest thing in the world. It really is. But there are those occasions in boxing where this does happen, so it's not like one of those things where, but there is a chance for those guys who want the fight happen. And we already know by default Ippo is going to return, and if not, then all right, if that's the case, then before the 2 chapters ends, then all right, then let's might well get the Teihei and Kantarus developed and be able to ship them off into the battlefield, because if that is what happens, then geez, that's gonna be pretty hard. That's gonna be a hard pill to swallow. Just Ippo, it turns out, plot twist, Ippo is not gonna ever return. Wait, what? When did this, what? Really, George? Just, you could at least told us about this, but then again, if you would tell people that Ippo had to came back and not let and not let the curiosity just bloom on its own, then they could potentially risk the manga sales here. Potentially. A lot of things been happening in the background of Hajime Ippo. A lot of things have been going down, and going down across the world, especially in Mexico. It's been getting hot. Alright. And the funny thing is, would I ever pick up the whole storyline of Ippo becoming a wrestler? Now, obviously this is a Miyata video, but I'll quickly touch on this. Because the reason why it's just, out of all things, Ippo get caught on the newspaper becoming a wrestler. It's just, like they did say, Sakamura and his brother did say he was a part of the trio. That's confirmed. And that's the case, they really do need a tag team partner. It would be an interesting thing to learn with Ippo and Endurance. Whether you believe the wrestling is real or fake, they're still slamming into each other. They're still pulling off headbutts. Because that flying headbutt will give you brain damage. That's a legitimate thing. So it's just, whether you believe it's real or fake, people still get injured all the time. People end up with broken necks. Alright, so it's just, shit happens. That would be funny, but it just goes back, all just goes back to Miyata. What will Miyata do? What will the journeys of Miyata be? Because some people not like Miyata. I like Miyata. And I find it slightly funny how Miyata is supposed to be the smart one of the two, but he can't do basic math. You gotta leave it to Ryo Mishiba to lay down the foundation for some math work. Yes, out of all people, the Grim Reaper, the death god himself of Japan, must show people how to do arithmetic. Alright? He can solve the math equations. Now, you wouldn't expect Mishiba to be able to do this, but apparently he hit the books, which is questionable because it's never addressed if he graduated high school or not. And Miyata did, but alright then, if that's the case, then that is the case. But yeah, it's just, anything can happen. Anything can happen. It's just the whole Miyata encounter. That Miyata encounter was not supposed to happen. It was not. That Miyata encounter between Mishiba and Miyata was the most hype thing I've ever seen. You haven't seen more hype until hype was existing. I was so hyped up for that fight, it was ridiculous. It was that encounter, it was ridiculous. Just like, really Miyata and Mishima in the same place. Really, it was just like, it was excellent. It was that. I'll say one thing: George is an excellent hype machine. I give him that. He's an excellent hype machine. All right, so you gotta practice the fine art of the hype, cause George knew it, and cause that hype was excellent. Just that one panel alone of them looking at each other, the lighting in the background, just come on, Billy, come on, like good old times. And then the cool effect of recent chapters with Mishima was just like, you know, if a guy would have used that one single one, if he would have had the counters like Miyata, he probably would have beat Mishima, but he didn't have the stuff. He didn't have the stuff. He wasn't good enough. But yeah, a lot of things can happen. A lot of things could happen. Cause at this point, anybody at Miyata's face, I doubt it will be anybody new. It will be anybody old. Unless he's gonna fight like a Wally, which it would be fun. Or he's gonna fight Antonio. Now if he fights Antonio, that's it would be interesting to see the contrast, but seeing how Ippo was, and the funny thing is, Miyata has went through worse with weight management, but somehow Ippo cracked first, which now it's kind of what you get when you're not able to end most of your fight in the first round KO. So it should be expected, but it's just it wasn't supposed to go down like that, because you can say whatever you want. I would put it like this: Gonzalez killed Ippo's career. Antonio buried it. That's literally what happened. He was already in the coffin, just Antonio just dropped the dirt on him. That's the way I view it. So yeah, guys, I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else when it refers to Miyata, besides from like some of the things he might be able to do, because he is based off of Sugar Ray Leonard. The reason I keep on saying that is just because of the English dub voice actor, who was just like Sugar Ray Leonard, and it's just that voice. That's why I was. You ever see me in the future videos say Sugar Ray Leonard out of nowhere in that particular voice? You'll know why. You'll know why. From now on, you'll know the truth of why I keep on constantly saying Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, because like since he is based on Sugar Ray Leonard, he already has the footwork. But when it comes to hand speed, that's all Itagaki. But then again, they both are based off the same character, so just anything can happen. Some might say, what about it evolves? All right. Maybe some love life for Miyata. Just Miyata's an instant breed of specimen. It's one of those things that indicate can happen with the Hajime Ippo, but it's just Oh, Ippo. I think Misha was finally going out with somebody. He's on a date. Where is he? He's just over there. He's only 8 feet away. They got the exact same stealth tactics. Somehow they always right around the corner. Somehow Misha just does not notice his own tactic getting used against him by his own sibling. That's interesting. That's very interesting. He hasn't really shown any interest in any woman or any woman that he likes, so it's just any potential storyline for Hajime Miyata is up in the air, right? Miyata Ichiro, anything can happen. Literally. Like the entire grocery store situation. I don't know. It's funny how the first time I did not notice that the manager's earrings had dicks on them. I don't see how I missed that. Like seriously, I missed it until Mishima pointed it out. I don't see how I missed that this entire time. But there it was. This entire time it was right there. It was right there in front of my eyes, and I just did not see it. I don't see how, but yeah. Then again, let's be honest here. Right? How do you know Miyata ever happens? Right? It's time for the true fight they don't be waiting for. Right? Miyata Ichiro versus Ippo versus Kumi over Ippo. Right? This is a fight that's been hyped up since apparently Kumi had been saying Miyata's competition for a long time now. Long time. Now, which is quite strange because Miyata was not supposed to be inside the Makunouchi Wars. He's not, but apparently Kumi sees him as competition. I don't see why she would see him as competition, but she does. He just you can't act like she's not just as psychotic as her brother is. The thing is, it's not like she's pulling on the face or she acting fake. It's just one of those things where it's like a switch. Unlike with Misha, it's just all day, every day. All day, every day. All day, every day. So it's just... Then again, we can still have the full-fledged Hajime no Mishiba. Or Hajime no Vork. We haven't had a Hajime no Vork at all. Actually, now I think about it, we never had a Hajime no Vork. And the Mike Elliott fight doesn't count because it was still built up upon Ippo, pretty much. Ippo found it... Well, I'm back. And it was built up on Ippo. Was I really recording for that long? I don't think so, but alright then. So yeah. So we wrap this video, because I think the video is getting too damn long. But yeah, the future of Miyata is up in the air. No one knows what could happen. Anything could happen. And this is Hajime Ippo, so it happens when it happens. But people with Shockwave King, what do you think will be the future of Miyata? Like, subscribe, and do whatever. I guess I got an Instagram, DreadFlash131, where I post up all my art, like the recent Mishiba collection, or Tekken and Slapped. But yeah, been Booming Shockwave King, what do you think will be the future of Miyata? And why does Kumi see Miyata's competition? And will Miyata ever find love? Or the final of them all, who would be the champion or the ranked fighter that Miyata would face in the end? Big Booming Shockwave King, and then peace.